reason we're alive is to one day be divine. When our thoughts have been aligned, our world can be defined. The only reason we're alive is to one day be divine. Is to one day be divine. Is to one day be divine.
Hey, how's it going, everybody? And welcome to another edition of the Geek 2.0 podcast. It's been a while. Holidays stink for trying to do a show and get everything all situated. And New Year's and having to get back on track. But it's 2020. It's a new year.
Oh, where is it going?
It's going somewhere. But on this episode, we got some interesting things going on because I don't know if you know about this little program from the FTC. It's called COPPA. It's the Children's Online Protection something Act.
Prepared. Fully prepared.
Yes. We're professionals, baby. What it is that it keeps children under the age of 13, so 12 and under, from getting their information collected from websites, forums, YouTube, and stuff like that, without their parents' consent.
Consent?
Yes, words are hard.
Percent?
Today. Yeah, percent. Their presence. Yeah, so it's just to keep the kids getting trolled by advertisers and bad actors on like websites and stuff like that.
Is it also supposed to help prevent or keep from cyberbullying, or is this just from
It's just to keep their information from being collected online.
Okay.
Cyberbullying is a little bit different. That's different from the actual websites initiatives, how they go about doing their rules and terms of service and stuff like that. The major reason why we're talking about COPPA is YouTube back in September got caught with their hand in their cookie jar by the FTC because they were collecting information of kids' profiles for advertisers. Because there was this like saying, "Hey, Mattel, you want to have some ads on these channels because, hey, we get these kids from ages whatever between 12 and whatever and 6 for your ads." And they're like, "Okay, fine." FTC fined them. I think it was like $170 million or $175 million. Now, because of that, YouTube has stated that any content creators' channels are now susceptible to being fined by the FTC, which is a big fine because that is like $42,000 per video.
Basically, they got in trouble, so they're rolling it downhill and passing the blame.
Yeah, they're saying, well, they're washing their hands of it, saying, hey, it's on you guys now. We can't collect it, and neither can you. But the thing is, a lot of channels, or pretty much every channel, doesn't collect that information. YouTube does. Mm-hmm. And we don't have access to, say, our subscribers' email address or information,
ages,
exactly.
location.
That's all YouTube.
Yeah.
So it's been a big hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring that word in.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So there's been a lot since September where everything is just going through, and there's a lot of videos made. I don't know if you've seen the videos. I posted on our Twitter account a link to a couple of them.
We have a Twitter?
Yeah, we have a Twitter.
Oh, what's the address?
It's at Geek 2.0 or Geek 20 podcast.
Oh, okay.
On Twitter.
Thank you. Did not know that.
Yeah, the link's below in the description. So yeah, it is a whole lot of people were saying freaking out because at the time we really had no information. YouTube says, "Hey, this is coming along, and good luck."
Pretty much.
Yeah, and the rules, they didn't even say the rules at the time. I think there's November time frame, October and November, when Susan, I'm going to butcher her last name, Wazowski something, the CEO of YouTube, she posted up a video, and it was just one of the things where it's like, hey, this new stuff's coming up, and be prepared, and good luck. Have fun. But keep hitting that like and subscribe.
Yeah.
And hit that bell. Back in December, a lot more information came out, but then at that time, it says, oh, all this stuff's coming out on the 1st of January. So you only have a few weeks
To prepare.
to get your stuff in order. One of those things was a lot of the people were freaking out were the Lego community, the Lego building community, anyone that does animation. Because a lot of things, I'm looking at the rules, there's only, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 to 10 rules, and they're very vague.
They basically took it from one thing to an extreme.
Yeah. So one of the rules was the subject matter of the video, e.g., educational content for preschoolers. Okay. There's a lot of community channels out there that
It's simple songs.
yeah, simple songs.
Like that. Ping pong. You know,
yeah.
like the stuff for kids.
Exactly. Okay, that's doable. Then you get into other where whether children are your attended or actual audience for the video. Okay, that's the first vague rule.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're making a video that you're doing a let's play on Mario Maker.
It starts that sentence starts out understandable. It's the ending of it because if it's intended for children,
Or
again,
the actual audience.
that's the part that it gets vague because again, because of the fact that YouTube doesn't pass along the information of the age of your viewers, you don't know.
No. Like right now, this video, when we put it on YouTube, the people watching it, I have no idea who they are or what their age is.
Our intended audience would be adults, but
us.
kids.
Boomers, Generation Z,
But our-
whatever.
Actual audience, who knows?
Exactly.
Not that I'm expecting kids to be watching this because this would be really boring for them. But it doesn't mean that they're not.
Yeah. I mean, they could click on it using their parents' account or not even signed in. And it's just on one of our videos. This gets posted up on the recommended, thankfully, hopefully.
Realistically, no. But, you know, we understand.
It can happen.
Got high hopes.
Another one is whether the video includes child actors or models.
That, again, can slightly understand.
It's also pretty vague, too, because...
It is.
What if you're... Because there's a lot of videos that do reaction videos.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of channels are based... Their whole shtick is reaction.
Yeah, what is the React channel? Like, that is their whole thing, and they have one with kids.
Yeah, they're watching like a trailer for, let's say, like A Wrinkle of Time or something like a kids movie that has kids in it. So is this rule affecting that particular video? Are they on the hook now for COPPA?
Mm-hmm.
So it's one of those things where it's like, what do we do? Another one is whether the video includes characters, celebrities, or toys that appeal to children, including animated cartoons, characters, or cartoon figures.
That one is one of the ones that bugs me.
Yeah.
Just because of the fact that just because it's a cartoon doesn't mean that it's geared towards kids.
There is so many. There's people. That's another thing is the animation community, because they make videos that can fall either to kids or they're dealing with adult situations, but they're in a animated form, or like we talked about with anime. Okay, that can be construed to be appealing to a kid, but the
Not
subject
intended
matter
for kids.
yeah, subject matter is not.
Or there's the YouTube creators that do the abridged version. So they'll take a cartoon or an anime and make an abridged version where they'll re-edit and redub the video to be a completely different subject than what the actual anime was for.
Yeah.
Or a cartoon was for. Or you just take stuff like I'm sure there's better examples, but like your Rick and Morty. You know what I mean? That's not exactly intended for kids, that are young.
Yeah, not for like a 6-year-old. Yeah. But then you're getting closer to like 12 or 13. I mean, the difference between like a 13 and 12-year-old is negligible.
Well, there's also something to be said for the parenting side.
Yeah.
Because every parent raises their child to their own standards, and some, won't let kids watch rated R movies until they're,
Of age, of 17.
Yeah, getting up there. Whereas some will let them watch rated R movies at 10. You know what I mean? depends on your family and your own standards. And it also, in my opinion, depends on the child themselves.
Yeah.
Because some are more mature. Some of them have an understanding of what's real and what's fake, what's, Hollywood, what's news. So they can enjoy some things that are a little bit more outside of their age range.
Right.
So it's
a case, it's pretty much a case by case basis that you can't have this rules to rule them all.
Yeah, but basically what YouTube is doing, if we're understanding correctly, is it's no longer putting it on the person viewing. It's now putting it on the person uploading.
Yeah, it's on the content creator themselves, which again,
without giving them the data to properly handle it.
Yeah, because I showed Joe what you have to do to comply with this new rule set from YouTube is either have no, my content and videos are not made for kids. Mm-hmm. Yes, my content is made for kids. And then there is a third option, which is I have to go and do the yes, no on every single video, which is for a lot of these channels, they have hundreds or thousands of videos that they have to go through if they don't do the yes, no.
A blanketed statement.
Yeah, blanket statement. Yeah. So they'll have to go through each and every single video. And in this time that YouTube is basically going through their channel and doing it themselves, but there is going to be, we know how YouTube is with like the copyright system and how screwed up that is. There's a whole bunch of false flags that will happen, that your video becomes demonetized, no longer searchable or on the recommended list, no comments, and
it locks it down.
It pretty much locks it down because YouTube is no longer getting that information from the viewers or the viewer account.
It makes me wonder though, where is the true enforcement though? Because of the fact there's a fine, the fine's coming from the FTC.
Yeah.
I don't see the FTC scouring YouTube for this.
They are. They will. They're in the press conference. I don't have it pulled up. I'm not going to play it. You can look for it. Well, I have a link for it in the description below. That they equated the old saying of shooting fish in a barrel. The guy said, I forget his name. He said, YouTube is the barrel and the content creators are the fish. And I don't think you're going to go through like us. Our viewership is so low.
Self-deprecating here.
Yeah, self-deprecating humor. But they're going to go after the bigger fish and fine them $42,000 per video. If they see that, okay, this video is marked as not for kids, but in our rules are how we look at it is. So we're going to fine you $42,000.
And see, and that's the kicker, because you could be putting out something that is geared towards non-kid audience. Here'd be a great example. A toy review channel that is geared towards adults.
Yeah.
Not so much that it's adults that are playing with, but more so like, hey, if you would like to know if this toy is safe for your child, or you'd like to know what's involved with this toy, a review for adults on kids' toys. Well, it's geared towards adults. You mark it as geared towards adults, but the content on it is a toy unboxing and playing.
Yeah.
Even though it's all adults, there's no kids in the video. It's still, because it's the subject matter is kids' toys, you could be flagged and fined for this.
Right.
Which is ridiculous.
It is. I mean, it's troubling to see how easy things can be swayed on like the YouTube side of things, because YouTube in its infinite wisdom had decided to basically just be very greedy. Like I said, mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, where it was just where they were just constantly pushing, hey, you want your ads on these particular channels because they geared more towards this age range. And they were constantly, there's articles out there where they are sending out PR information to these companies. Say, YouTube, you're the ones that brought it upon yourself. And now you're saying, passing the blame onto its content creators. And unfortunately, there is no other alternative to YouTube. There is, but with the range that YouTube has, it's hard to, because there's Vimeo.
I was gonna say I agree with you in that aspect, but it doesn't take but one situation like this for that change to occur.
Well, no, there is a change, but the amount that YouTube provides to the world, like the video and storage and the network,
Again, that can change.
They can change, but
very quickly.
But what company is going to come in and say, okay, we have the infrastructure of YouTube and provide our service for free?
Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon, but their focus is on Twitch.
But they could.
They could.
They've already got a video streaming service, so they've already got the bandwidth, they've got the hosting and all that. It's just a matter of having an interface and having it open to users. You know what I mean?
But then again, they would have to.
Facebook could do it.
Facebook. Actually, it is like a well hidden, spoken about secret that there is this ability on Facebook. It's just that no one really knows that it's there or uses it.
There could be other things out there that.
But then again, you still have to obey COPPA.
Yes, but the whole point to this is YouTube passing the blame and not making it easily distinguishable.
Right.
All it would take was another creator who doesn't pass the blame and or makes it very easy to distinguish.
Well, the thing is, let's say, okay, let's go ahead and look at Facebook. Facebook, to get a Facebook account, or even to look at anything on Facebook, you have to create an account. And you have to say, yes, I'm above the age of, or I'm 13 and older. There is ways.
Of course, you're not actually
it's a check
putting
mark.
in. Yeah, you're not actually putting in any real data.
It's a check mark. It's like, okay, you put in your information and it says, yes, I am above the age, or I'm 13 and older.
Yeah.
Okay. Click, and then submit, and then you got a Facebook account. But then there are ways that Facebook can go through and look through the accounts and how their algorithm is situated where, okay, this person is not posting what you would think as a 13 or older. Maybe this is not a true.
Or they would have to allow under 13.
Well, then again, that's a whole nother
comes down to
Facebook kids, like YouTube kids.
They would have to lock it down. They'd have to remove the check mark. They'd have to have you enter a birthday.
Well, no, yeah, you have to have a birthday, but then again, you're still collecting information. No, it's I don't know how they would go about it.
Hey, we're not the brains here to decide that kind of thing. We're just
Facebook
spitballing.
Call us. Zuckerberg, how's it going?
We're just spitballing. You know what I mean? There is ways to do it. It's whether or not they want to invest the time and money. There also could be video services that are out there that we're not aware of because they don't have the adoption rate. But all it takes is something like this and enough frustrated people to find.
Oh, there's a lot of.
I mean, technically, if we look at it with not the same circumstance, but it's very much MySpace, Facebook. MySpace was very large. Facebook came in, and all of a sudden, it felt like what was overnight, the adoption rate just flopped over to Facebook, and MySpace went nowhere. It could take something like this with a small hub community that's already adopted this, that's like, hey, tired of YouTube? Give this a shot, and all of a sudden they blow up and they become the household name.
Yeah,
and YouTube goes the way of MySpace.
Yeah, it can be easily done. It's just that every creator that has a channel on YouTube they're on the old mindset of putting all their eggs in one basket, which is not the correct way of doing things. You have to diversify your content.
Yeah, but there's also such a thing as spreading yourself too thin.
Well, a lot of things are happening now is because there's people are seeing this. Okay, because the copyright system can be easily abused. Your channel is gone, and trying to get an actual person on your channel back, the appeal process is cumbersome, to say the least. I mean, it is almost like climbing Mount Everest without any gear, in a shorts and t-shirt. I mean, there are some ways that large companies, not even large companies, are going around and trolling channels. Say, oh, those 3 seconds of something that you posted is ours. And we'll take everything that you make is now ours. And your channel is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then again, you have, I forget what's his name. He created a song that he did and posted up to CD Baby. And he was also trolling the copyright system, where he will go through and copyright strike his own channel to get the monetization. And it's so easy to do. I mean, it's just like, okay, with less than 3 seconds of a song or spoken words, that I know one of the big people that are doing is UMG, United or Universal Music Group. They're going through, and that's, you can just look through YouTube and see how many people are complaining about UMG, or even Junkin is doing the same thing, where they're blackmailing pretty much channels, taking away their monetization, their channels, and there's not much unless you're a large channel like PewDiePie or the larger ones. Yeah, you have that capability or that voice to go to YouTube and say, hey, fix this, because it is, if you get copyright strike, your channel is out for 30 days. Within those 30 days, you're not making anything. That video is no longer there. And if the appeal process, you have to appeal to the person that made the copyright strike, and they don't have
any incentive.
To say, oh, we're feeling charitable. Sorry. So they'll go back and say, no, it's a legitimate copyright. And then you have to appeal that, and then it's another 30 days. And they'll sit on it for those 30 days and say, okay, yeah, you're right. So 2 months have passed. Your video is no longer relevant anymore in the internet day of now. Yeah. So you got only 24 hours that your video is going to either hit viral or disappear. And then your channel is, so you have to keep doing it. And then you keep getting copyright strike because you can't do anything. I mean, the system is broken. There's so many people out there that are afraid that with COPPA and then the copyright strike with YouTube, it's just that they don't know where to go because they invested everything into YouTube. So they don't know, okay.
They don't want to have to start over.
Yeah, because if you go on Facebook, you're starting from scratch. You're starting from...
I don't personally feel that way, though. If you've got an audience, the audience would follow you. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter where you're getting the videos. If you enjoy the channel, you're going to follow that channel. Look at it as the streamers that moved from Twitch to Mixer.
No, I was going to segue to that.
They didn't start over.
Well, no, but
their viewership may have dropped, but they didn't start over.
Well, let's take the Ninja Shroud Ewok going from Twitch to Mixer. People only, when you look at the streamers or streaming, internet game streaming, what is the first thing that comes to your mind? Twitch. Because Twitch is the largest.
It's been around the longest.
It's been around. It's over a decade now. But when you think of Mixer, you're like, what's Mixer? Okay, so Ninja decided, okay, he is going to leave Twitch and go stream exclusively on Mixer. He was running at his peak, I think, at 60,000 concurrent viewers on his peak on Twitch. Right now on Mixer, he is at 12 to 15,000 at peak.
Mm-hmm.
That is a huge drop because people are brand loyal to a platform. They don't want to make an account on another platform. So they'll say, "Oh, I'm not going to watch Ninja anymore because he's on Mixer. I'm not going to go over there. I'm just going to see who's over on Twitch."
But that's also because of the fact that there's no failing of Twitch, like we're talking about in regards to YouTube.
Then again, there is a feeling of Twitch. There is
not to the same scale.
Well, no, there is, because then again, there is a bias with their terms of service enforcement on Twitch. There has been cases of people. Let's take one streamer. There's actually two streamers. I forget the other person's name, but the other one was Alinity, with the eating her cat over her head while on stream, taking her cat and just tossing it over her head. She got no trouble from that. The community wanted her banned, wanted her to face the consequences of animal abuse. Even Ricky Gervais on Twitter got into the mix with PETA and stuff like that. So this whole thing blew up. But another streamer, not as popular as Alinity, did almost the exact same thing, but she got, I think, a 3 or 5 day ban. It just depends on, because one person has a higher subscriber rate and is something going on.
Has more pull.
Has a lot of pull with Twitch and the inside there. And then the same person that has not as much gets enforced with TOS. There was, back on TwitchCon, back in earlier or later this past year, 2019, the CEO, I forget his name. He always wears bow ties. He looks like a dork. But he was also, she's here. He said during the conference that context matters. His example was that if you're streaming somebody and someone pushes you on a stream, that it will look one way. But if that same person trips and falls in and pushes you, it looks like the same thing, but the context is different. That's how they're looking at it. Well, there's been plenty of cases where that has never happened. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the same thing with Alinity and her whole issue, and then people saying N-word and racist comments are getting 3-day bans or not are getting banned at all. So it's just one of those things where it's certain. It depends on how well you are within the culture and the company. You are pretty much like shielded from enforcement or anything like that. You have a better chance of surviving whatever is happening to you than someone that isn't.
I get it. I still feel that this is different than the COPPA aspect of it, though, because this is solely, like we were saying, on the creators, and this isn't this isn't YouTube that's coming down and enforcing this.
Well,
this
it is YouTube
the
because
government.
Well, it's a little bit of both. YouTube is coming in and saying, okay, your channel is yes, no on the COPPA scale. FTC can come in and say to YouTube, channel A is in violation of the COPPA. Deal with it, or we will. So then it goes on to YouTube. Okay, YouTube comes in and shuts your channel down. Okay, that's the worst case. Not at the worst case scenario, but it's not.
It's a standard.
It's a standard.
Yeah.
What then? YouTube can come in and say, "Hey, FTC, we took care of it. No harm, no foul. We're good." The channel content creators like, "Hey, hold on a minute. What's going on here? YouTube, help fix this." And then again, with, like I say, some of the privileged few, they'll say, "Put in an appeal, and we'll get back to you." Boilerplate response on Twitter or whatnot.
And again, and that's where I'm saying, though, that this is a little bit different because of the fact that there's not as many content creators with a big enough pull. So this is going to affect a lot more people. So that it's a lot easier to see that transition go to another program because of this.
Right. And then, yes, there are some cases where people are saying, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and shut down my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook or on the Twitch or Facebook Gaming. Follow me there. Their audience is going to be half of what they had before. That's just given.
Yes, but
when you make a platform
they're not
change,
starting over. It's going to be reduced.
Yeah,
but it's also going to be reduced until everyone else starts going, oh, hey, look, we're also dealing with this. They're no longer dealing with it to the same craziness.
Right.
You know what I mean? So let's also make the move. And all of a sudden, in a matter of what is a long time of a year or 2 years, can be also a blip in the eye because, the Facebook, MySpace switch literally didn't happen overnight.
It took years.
It took a while. But at the same time, it did feel very much like it was overnight.
Well, in the internet scheme of things, it was a blink of an eye.
It was very quick. So the same concept can happen. All it's going to take is because you figure a good, let's be nice, let's say 80% of YouTube.
You're
I'm being very
you're
nice.
being very generous.
I'm being very nice. But let's say a good 80% of YouTube is people that don't have the pull as the other 20%. That 80% moves to another source, or even if that 80% is split amongst other sources,
right,
it's still enough that YouTube is going to feel it. The bigger creators, the ones that do have the thing, are going to see that a lot of people are now all of a sudden going to these other sources,
and that's the same.
And they're
going to
be
streaming.
I like this source, I'm going to go here, or I like this source, I'm going to go here, and all of a sudden you're going to start trickling the bigger sources, and then all of a sudden the bigger sources are going to see that out of the biggers, majority are on this source,
right?
So let's go here. Then all the little guys are going to go, oh look, the big ones are there.
Bottom
feeder.
Well, that's the prime example with, because before the Ninja move, with streamers, how you would get your income was from subscriptions, donations, and bits on Twitch. When he moved, it came out that he was wanting to do more brand deals, the Ninja brand deals that Twitch was not allowing him to do. So he was like, okay, I want to move. I don't want to have the Ninja brand under Twitch. So I want to have my own control of my own brand. So that's why he made the move to Mixer. He pretty much opened the doors to these other streamers to say, because he's getting a guaranteed payday for whatever year, 2, 3, whatever he is with Mixer, on top of donations, subscriptions, and stuff. But he's getting that guaranteed payday on top of that. And everyone's like, I want to do that too. Twitch, let's talk. Twitch, you don't want to talk? Okay, Mixer or Facebook Gaming or YouTube.
Yeah.
He opened the door to have that.
He opened their eyes.
Yeah, he opened these companies, the platform's eyes, that these streamers or content creators are more important than the actual platform.
Well,
the
and
platform
it's
is just a tool.
Especially in the sense of Mixer. That's where I think it's slightly different.
Yeah.
Just because Mixer is Microsoft. So they have the backing to be able to do those kinds of deals. It's not
it's pocket change.
It's not like Mixer was created by another kid in college. You know what I mean? To go the Facebook analogy. It's not created by some kid in college.
Technically it was. Beam, then Microsoft bought and then changed it, flipped it, Mixer. That's a whole nother.
Yeah, that's. But right now, this whole transition did not happen while Mixer was created and owned by a kid in college. It's owned by Microsoft, so Microsoft has the ability to go, oh yeah, Ninja. There's a name
brand.
that people know. We will absolutely do this, knowing that you're going to get less. So we're going to subsidize it by going, hey, here's a guarantee. So they're able to set that precedent, which is where it's coming in. With YouTube, there's not currently someone with that kind of financial backing that's willing to make that kind of statement that we're aware of.
Because the golden child of YouTube is pretty much, I don't know, PewDiePie. He's not even the top now.
I think he's still a name, but he's not the name that he was.
Right. But let's just use him as an example. Even though he's taken a break from YouTube and stuff like that, he's going to be coming in and saying, you know what? I am going to do something completely different that no one has really done anymore or has done at all. And
that looks so random and weird.
It's so random happenings. If you're not watching the video, you don't understand. Sorry, audio listeners. But he can come back and say, hey, I'm PewDiePie. I want to go to, again, Facebook.
I think a better example would be that it's been in the news recently, the kid that is on YouTube that made like some couple, like $12 million last year in revenue. Have you not heard about this? There's a kid content creator that is like 8 years old, 12 years old, something like that. That's literally made like millions last year just through his YouTube videos. Like, oh yeah, it's nuts. So like this would be a great example because here's a kid who is literally making large sums of money that now, because of these rules, is going to fall under that kid's setting, which means he's no longer
13.
Yeah, he's no longer going to be able to have the target. He's no longer going to have ads on his videos. He's no longer going to have comments. He's not going to show up in searches.
Yeah,
because all of his stuff is it's kid created for kids, which falls completely under these guidelines, which means he's now cut off from all of his revenue source. So here's a very large, apparently not as well known, but
I don't know. I mean, it's like
a quick Google search will pull him up. I guarantee it.
Let me Google that for you.
But here's someone that's now going to have to either change or is going to have to move. So here's a prime example.
Well, even if he moves, I mean, he can't do anything until he is of age, because everyone else you have to be 13 and older to create an account. So he's stuck in between a rock and a hard place. Because if he goes to Facebook or if he goes to Vimeo, then again, he's still getting hit with the COPPA regulations that he can't, unless his parents say yes. And the way that they say yes is kind of archaic, because you have to send in a fax. Yeah. You laugh.
I laugh because that was not what I was expecting.
No, it is archaic beyond belief. Yes, you see that button, but then if you're under 13, if you hit no, I am not 13, then you have to you fill out a form that your parents have to fill out a form and fax or mail to the FTC. Says, okay, I give permission. It's true fact.
No, I get you.
Because
I was expecting mail. I was not expecting fax. That's where I was
it's because when I start up sites like our forums and stuff, there is a section in the admin side that you have to set up for to get permission from the parents that you have to have a mailing or a fax. Then that is on record that you have to keep on record. That, okay, well, this account is okay because they're under 13. Their parents said it was basically a permission slip from school. That this
which
account is okay.
I can understand. It's just funny to me.
Yeah. There's no way to say to electronically yes, no.
There is, but they have not established the way. Yes.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because it's a government and it moves even slower than corporations.
Yeah. So the other piece to this that we were kind of discussing slightly is what's going to be the fallout of this in regards to where's the line drawn? Because
And that's a very broad line.
because this could very easily fall into other categories, other situations.
We already talked about game streaming. There's things where people are say, my daughter, she wants to stream, but she can't, not by herself. Like she can join me on my streams, but she can't be the focus. I have to be the focus,
And you also
and she can't be by herself.
but
Like,
you
I
also
have to
go
be
into
on
the
there.
fact of the whole thing is that it's all cutting it off, collecting data, all that good stuff. So then your Twitches, your mixers, and all that, those are games. So under what's listed under the YouTube rules,
Yeah.
that all falls under this COPPA, and that is kid related. So do these entire websites now shut down? You know what I mean? Not literal, but in a sense of like no data whatsoever.
Which is, in fact, their bread and butter.
That's yeah.
'Cause that's
Most
how-
websites out there, whether
It's
you
advertisements.
realize it or not, it's advertisements and data collecting and selling. That's the whole thing. Like
It's the sad truth is that advertisements rules the internet now, or has been for the past, let's say, decade.
and then you go into not even websites that you would think about, but your Google search engines. Their whole thing is data collecting and selling to
Every
other
search
things.
engine being, except for like DuckDuckGo, because that's their main focus is they don't collect data. But then again, they have to rely on other sources of income because they're not going to do advertisements because that's what they don't want to do. They don't want the tracking. I'm using DuckDuckGo as an example here because a lot of people don't want to be tracked online. That's just a fact that people don't want ads because there's whole things where ads can inject bad stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, they get hijacked, but that's where we use AdBlocker Plus or uBlock Origin just to keep that from happening. So I don't see ads. It's a great experience. I turn it off for one thing, or I go on a Twitch, or if I'm on a computer that doesn't have that, I look at it, I'm like, what? Where am I? Because there's ad banners everywhere, or the background is an ad for a movie or something, or Jack Ryan, especially for Twitch, because it's an Amazon streaming original. But it's just one of the things where it's like if you see an ad, you're being tracked.
Or they're using the tracking that's already on your computer through whatever source you did to get there.
Right, and the big thing now is in Europe with the GDPR is because if you go to a website that has tracking cookies and stuff, they have to let you know. You have to click, okay, yes, I accept.
Well,
My cookies are being tracked.
I don't know if you've seen, but they've even delved a little bit deeper into that. Now some of them have drop downs where you can specify to what level the cookies are actually tracking you.
Yeah.
Is it targeted? Is it generic? Is it just the bare minimum data? Like you actually select those kind of options.
Right.
But if you don't click the little drop down caret arrow or whatever and you just click accept, it's the highest level.
You get everything, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of people are getting a pushback because of the tracking, and I think we've talked about this with like the GDPR and the right to be forgotten aspect in Europe, because people want their information, because if you delete your account on Facebook, you have the option of getting everything that they have. Not in a very convenient form, but it's whatever they have on you.
Yes, you get that information, but it doesn't mean that the information is gone.
No, it has to be gone now.
Oh, it changed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you say, It's still going to be 30 to 90 days that it's going to be on the servers.
Because there's still the history. There's still what's already been collected, provided,
But
sold. Is
now,
still the spider web effect. You know, it's what they say. Whatever you put on the internet is there for life.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't know where that's spread to. So while, yes, you may have taken it from the source and they may not have it, and in the future it's not going to continue to spider out, but what's out there is out there.
That's the major issue with the right to be forgotten in Europe is, okay, yeah, you took it off from the source, but you still have these other places that have links or have collected that information
Everyone
from
that
years ago.
has bought it.
Yeah. So it's no longer, because that's the thing is, one of the people, because some guy, he didn't like how one news article was written, because he was a public figure, but he didn't like how they portrayed him because he did something bad. So he said, oh, I don't want that information on the internet. Good luck, buddy. Yeah, you took it off from the news article, but that news article has been linked and shared for years throughout other different sites. You're not going to get every little minuscule amount that's out there.
Well, and
it's an impossible task.
You look into like your ancestries.coms or even going further than that, your my DNA. You know what I mean? Like the people
23andMe.
Yeah, 23andMe. All of those where you do the little swab and you send it in. Like you are literally giving them more than your data. You are giving them your DNA.
You're giving them you.
Yeah. And like there's a whole thing, like when you sign up, when you get the thing, like you're agreeing to these terms, like they turn around and can sell your information.
Especially now, I forget, 23andMe was bought up by another company that was their sole making of money was not advertising, but how to look at this information and use it for advertising and targeted other things. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the things where you have to look at that. Not only if you've given your information to this one company, that company can be turned around and bought and sold by something else that
uses it in a different way.
Exactly.
And you've already signed off your rights to that.
And they bought that contract that you can,
and
they don't let you know.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. Like, cause there was an article that I had read, cause I was looking, cause it seemed very weird to me. Like I liked the concept of what it is that they do, but you're still sending them crazy personal information. You know what I mean?
Right.
That to get this stuff. And there was someone that wrote an article that they went to all of the different suppliers that do the same thing, basically.
Right.
Not only did they go through and actually sign up for it and go through the process to see what data they got, but then they went back and tried to get them to delete or get rid of the information that they had provided. And they provided like a synopsis of like who did what was the results and stuff like that. But in the end, all of them were the same of like, unless you do this like immediately, like you send in the information and at the same time say delete my information, or as soon as you get the results say delete my information, it's already been bought and sold.
Yeah.
So while it's being deleted, it's out there.
Yeah.
And you're done. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, if you truly wanted to get rid of it.
I mean, if you truly, I mean, you're going to be turning that into a full-time job. And then then some.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's way more than that.
Because
like
you're going to have to follow
a trail that you can't get.
There is no, it's the digital trail.
Because they're not going to tell you who they sold their information to. That's not a part of the
Well, unless
the
they're a
thing.
publicly traded company, then they would have to.
They may be able to tell you who they're doing business with, but not necessarily who has purchased your specific information.
Well, I don't know if I'm not an expert like SEC regulation with publicly traded companies and corps and stuff like that, but there is probably a way, unless it's as publicly is different than private enterprises, because private be like, go hit bricks, buddy. We're not going to tell you anything.
Well, and that's just it. Like whoever bought it, it's not. There's nothing that states that they have to delete your data,
Right.
Because they didn't sign anything with you specifically. They signed it with that company.
Yeah.
And they may have told the company, "Hey, when we buy this stuff, you can't tell us that we're going to delete it. You have to sign away all rights whatsoever." And the company, whatever,
Okay.
Yeah, they don't care. It's not their data. You know
we're
what I mean?
talking about, we're talking about billions of dollars. So
Yeah.
It's like,
So there's nothing that is going to really affect them in that way. So even if you could go Sherlock Holmes and find everywhere where all your data has been sold, it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to tell them to get rid of it.
right. So it's one of the things where it's just like, you can't, if you're on the internet, you're not going to be invisible. With COPPA, I mean,
When your life's on the internet nowadays,
yeah,
especially for kids, you're growing up on the internet.
yeah, you're pretty much, you already have an account, no matter what. I mean, it's just one of the things where it's just that you have to take that in effect of you're living your life online.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you don't want it, it's still there.
Yeah, just plain and simple. And this is another touchy subject, but depending on what age you give a kid a cell phone, you give a kid a cell phone, they're now living on the internet.
Yeah. Or they're constantly on YouTube or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Because I'm staring at my daughter. I mean, yeah, she is constantly on YouTube.
they create accounts even before they're
Or they're
old
using
enough.
ours.
I was gonna say even before they're old enough or smart enough or mature enough to be able to be on like your Facebooks or your Google searches or your YouTubes. A lot of parents, if not all parents, post about their kids.
Mm-hmm.
So you're up there showing pictures, you're
Family
up there telling
gatherings.
stories. Yeah.
Birthdays.
So your life as a child is being documented from the day you're born to the day you're old enough to have your own account, and it just keeps on going.
And there's sometimes some people post up on YouTube the actual birth of their child or stream it live.
Yeah.
I mean,
all flavors.
Yeah.
All flavors.
hey, it's content.
So, I mean, there is no way to really, like, you are 100% in this world.
Yeah.
So it's really just a matter of, it's not a matter of trying to go back and go
there is no
away
going
from it.
back.
There is, but it's
Well,
it'll take a long time.
Well, it's also you're going out to living out in the Ozarks and living off grid and becoming a mountain person.
Yeah, there's a lot of adoption that would have to take place and a lot of big changes. That is not anything that would be an overnight.
No, I mean to drop off the face of the earth. Yeah, you can do that overnight, but the residual tendrils of what your online life was is still out there.
Mm-hmm.
You would
have
go
to,
up to
you would have to stay away from every major metropolis ever.
like I said, you will have to become a mountain person.
Yeah.
Like you're living off the land. You're not even post office mail because that can be tracked as well. So you're pretty much cutting yourself off from modern civilization. Or you go out and live in the middle of the Sahara, or it's just like some random place that's isolated from the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. And even now with Starlink now. From,
I was gonna say
SpaceX,
that's starting to change because of the satellites and
Yeah.
Google Earth and all that. Like it may not be tied to you directly, but you're still. If you want to get really paranoid, you're still under observation.
Yeah. Get that tinfoil hat going. But yeah, it's just one of those things where I wanted to look at COPPA and how things can affect your day-to-day life and how it can also affect the people that you watch or your channels and stuff. Because that is all can be affected. Mm-hmm. It'll affect us because I've had to make changes and stuff like that where yes, when I look at it, it's not as a big of a deal because the subject matter that we deal with is not for kids per se. We do talk about kids and
that's kind of the whole thing, but
yeah, it's our thing. I mean, it's in the name. It's in our name.
But our target audience is not kids. But again,
Right.
this goes back to like what we were talking about earlier with the adult that is doing reviews of kids' toys so other parents know if it's right for their child.
Right. Or the people that going back to this like doing the squishies, like squishy repair videos, or talking about slime, because kids love slime.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that the kids love slime. Well, now that you have to think about how you come about with your videos. I mean, it's one of those things where you have
You talk about another example that would work really great would be it's a channel that I actually enjoy watching, but the King of Random.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if are you aware of that channel?
I've heard of it. I haven't watched any of his content.
It basically he does it's King of Random, like it's all random stuff, but basically he takes a lot of science and technology and will show how you can do simple things. Like it's a really cool channel. There's a lot of really fun educational stuff on there, but the stuff that he deals with isn't necessarily for kids. It's not geared towards kids.
Right.
But because of the fact of what it is that you can do is really fun and cool, it can be entertaining for kids, and I could see kids watching it.
Yeah, they'll drawn to it.
Not young, but I mean, you're honestly getting 10 years old. Yeah, you could get stuff out of that. I mean, he talks about you can make your own stress balls. You know what I mean, like how to do it, or how to get a hand crank generator out of an old power drill. You know what I mean? Like there's all kind, like it runs
Random.
the spectrum. Yeah, it's all random, but it's all really educational, really cool stuff. I could see that falling under him. You know what I mean? Like, again, because of the fact, and I think this is, for me, this is the biggest thing, because of the fact that the creators have, at least to my knowledge, have no knowledge of what their audience actually is. There's no way that they can defend themselves appropriately.
Well,
in the face of this COPPA.
In YouTube, we can look at demographics and age groups, 13 and older. But it's just one of the things where, like, then we would come back. The kids are using their parents' account or one that's created by them, or they're not even using an account. They're just randomly picking something. It affects content creators greatly. Like the King of Random, he probably has to look at how he creates his content, because we'll go back to it with false flagging. His video can become false flag and demonetized, and then he's a larger creator, but there's certain levels that he can only go so far.
Yeah.
And then those videos that are flagged are no longer earning money for him. And that's a big difference from making content and having to actually work and getting your content back. Because no longer you're not making content. You're having to say, okay, well, I'm going to have to take the next couple hours that I could be making a video or doing research for a video and trying to get something done with YouTube to get my video back.
I wonder if because of this, you're going to see a lot of the streamers that are out there and content creators. We use Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves has a big thing about content creators and spotlighting them and showing them off and all that. And they're not just content creators for streamers. They are content creators for YouTube people. Yep. There's some really big name in the Sea of Thieves world. There's some really big name creators that do YouTube videos and edit together and create stories, because that's the whole point of it, and put it up on YouTube. Well, because of the fact that it's a video game and it's a cartoonish looking video game, now
even though the game is rated T for teen, it's still the fact that it's how its animation, how it's designed is to make it look fun and cutesy, and
it's still a kids
would like it.
Yeah, it's still considered a kids thing. Video games are considered kids.
Exactly. But it's just the thing is that, okay, they would have to think of how, if, like I said, with the example with their video is taken down because of false flag, they're no longer making content. They're
no longer making YouTube videos.
Yeah.
It's now going to have to be strictly streaming or use another service.
And Twitch is horrible with discoverability or even with video archiving, because unless you're a partner with Twitch, your videos only have a shelf life of 14 days, and that's it. So you have to have your video on another platform, or like I said, on YouTube, you have your audience on YouTube, and then you say, hey, I do my live streaming on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Come see me on Twitch TV, Mix, or whatever. So you have to bring your audience from another platform to Twitch, Mixer, because they don't have the discoverability.
You have to guide them.
Recommendation engine is not there. Unless you know the person and you're actively subscribing or you're following them, you have no idea. YouTube is a little bit different. YouTube is bigger in the aspect where you have a wider audience that you're capable of. So it's just one of those things that you have to think about. So that's just one of the things that I want to talk about today with the COPPA and all that. And I know if you're watching a video, there's some random things going on that, again, sorry, audio listeners, you'll have no clue what's happening. If you know anybody that has dealt with this COPPA, or if you are another fellow content creator, and how are you thinking about doing this, or what platform are you going to be going to or thinking about, or are you diversifying your content? Because that's again, because that's what I do. I don't stick to one platform. When I do my game streaming, I am streaming to 4 different platforms, 5 actually, and building an audience, because I can do my monetization through 5 different ways. If I did Twitch and if I get affiliate, I'm stuck on just one platform. Because if Twitch has a 24-hour exclusive clause with your content, that you can't put that content anywhere for 24 hours at the end of your live stream. So that's one of the things where it's archaic in that sense, that hopefully Twitch looks on and say, hey, we'll take care of that.
No,
they won't. I
don't think so.
No. But then again, thank you for listening, our ramblings and old men yelling at clouds.
That's right.
If you got anything that you want to let us know about, let us know on our Twitters, which is Geek20 Podcast, at Geek20 Podcast on the Twitters. Also on our website, you can get us through the collective.network. Our episodes are going to be posted there. Also on Apple, iTunes, and Stitcher. No, you can find us on Spotify, Overcast, or any kind of podcast program app that you want to use, or view us online, either on Twitch, Mixer, and YouTube when we do our live recordings.
For now.
Until we get taken down.
Yeah.
Facebook with their copyright with music is driving me nuts. That's different.
Yeah.
But I want to say thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Geek 2.0 podcast. Laters.